Although many of us have ate
What's Target with
that way before and we didn't get any results. So clearly the drops are doing something. Clearly. And that's why we've had so much success with the body balance drops, also known as Slenderize. And what I want you to know is when you look at that list, you may be looking at it going, is this low glycemic? It appears to be just low glycemic. This is no different than eating keto. And I want you to know it's actually very different because there are some of you in here who just go eat low glycemic and you have incredible results. There are actually some of you in here who don't change one single thing about how you're eating. And you're like, well, I didn't change that and I got results. And then the others in the room are like, I'm eating perfectly and I'm not getting results. How is that possible? So there's two subjects going on here. And when you understand these two subjects, I think it pulls all the puzzle pieces, flips them over, and it makes this beautiful picture. So there's one called low glycemic, which we know low glycemic means these are foods that do not spike your blood sugar. But did you know there is also something called low insulin foods? More importantly, that means there's high insulin producing foods. So when you look at the food plan, you're like, I don't understand why I can have this and I can't have that. I can have this and I can't have that. And a lot of times it's because we've realized through the last 65,000 people that we've worked with over the last 2 years, there are certain foods that people further down the pre-diabetic and diabetic or insulin resistant road, they have to be way more careful with certain food groups. And these food groups are the high insulin producing foods. So I encourage you, if you're like, I want to know exactly what these foods are so that I can stay away from them so that I get the best results when I'm using my drops and I'm eating as close to plan as I possibly can. So this is the conversation for all these pre-made shakes. If I was to look over this group and I had one conversation that absolutely makes me lose my mind, there's two. There's two. The first one is, what pre-made protein shake can I have? Well, that's a very processed food, and our whole goal is to have whole foods. The more processed something is, the higher the insulin producing it is. So, whey protein, which is in what's like almost every single one of the pre-made shakes, that protein is a high insulin. It's low glycemic. So you look on the label and you're like, no, this is good. But you're not looking at it from the low insulin index. And so the low insulin piece of this, it actually drives your insulin back up. Now, you don't want insulin in your system because the more insulin you have in your system, the more dysfunction you have to your metabolism. So if you want to increase your metabolism, you've got to reduce the insulin. Now, the drops, they support your body to start functioning and moving the insulin out of your system. But we can put it back in with our food choices. So some of the things that you're going to see on the list, if you were to go Google high insulin index foods, whey protein, dairy. So some of you are like, well, I can have this. I can have creamer in my coffee. And someone else is like, I put 2 tablespoons in and I stalled for 3 weeks because it increased your insulin. Dairy is a high insulin index food. Okay, listen to this. Chicken can be high insulin index in some people. So I was one of those people. So for me, when I was using the plan, I really used a lot of lean cut meat. beef. When I say meat, I mean beef. Maybe in a way, I realized that when I ate beef, I felt better. When I ate chicken, I didn't. I got sleepy, sort of like turkey. It's kind of in the middle of the road for me. But chicken is absolutely an high insulin index for some people. Maybe not you. Maybe you're losing and you're doing great with a ton of chicken, but there's others who are eating a lot of chicken and they're not dropping. Maybe consider pulling it out and see if it changes it for you. Egg whites. Processing has to happen to remove the yolk from the egg. We eat whole foods here. So the more egg whites, for some people, creates high insulin reactions. So if you're adding a lot of egg whites to things and you're slow losing, let's go back to using the whole egg and see if you don't get a change. There are certain nuts that are high insulin. Peanuts, even almonds for some people. In fact, some people, almonds are an inflammatory reaction. That is because of the insulin. The higher your insulin, the higher your inflammation. So the whole point is you could sit here and get a little bit confused, or you could just eat off the food plan. And then go and Google, become an advocate for your own health, and see if the foods that are listed on the high index are foods that you're eating a lot of. And if that's the case, pull one out at a time and see which ones make the biggest change in how you feel and how your body is reacting. How good are you sleeping? Are you still having hot flashes? What's my digestion look like? Because we know the drops work. People will be like, I just don't know that these are working for me. Well, that's because we haven't tweaked and customized this enough for you. And are you willing to invest the time and the energy into figuring it out? And if the answer is yes, you will never regret the time that you spent here. So as we go into this next weekend, a holiday, it's a day, it's not the whole weekend. I really encourage you, if you're going to go off rails, if you're going to go off plan, find a day that you plan, set yourself up for success. So if it's you're having a barbecue, well, then make sure you have foods at that barbecue that you can don't go totally off rails. Go halfway off the rails. Have strawberries. Yes, watermelon is a higher sugar fruit, but that's a whole lot better than cake and ice cream. Yet it feels good and you feel good after having it. So you can do this. I was thinking about this today. A lot of times I'll say, you're not broken, right? When you hear me talk about the drops, you're not broken. You might be bruised. You might feel a little beat up. You might feel a little battered. But I believe that those things go away and you will heal up as you learn your body. So I'm actually really excited for those of you who dig into this and you really truly become an advocate for your wellness, because no one can take that away from you. You are going to be empowered walking out of this process. Now, it doesn't happen overnight, especially those of you, as I said, spoke to before, higher down the insulin index issue. So pre-diabetic, diabetic, PCOS, we've got some work to do. Give me 90 days of really, no more of this, well, I sort of kind of ate on plan. Well, guess what? You're going to sort of kind of get results. But if that's all you can give me right now, then sort of kind of give me some results. That's okay. Just don't beat yourself up and don't throw in the towel. Continue to take one step after the other, and you are going to find yourself on the other side of the fence of health and illness. I want this for you just as much as you want it for yourself, maybe even more, because I've been where you are. I've done what you've done, and I came out and I won. I've got some content coming out in the next few days where I had to order in the jeans that I wore at my highest body weight. In fact, I didn't even order the highest size because I literally triggered me. I ordered a size 26 women's pair of pants in. And when I pulled it out of the box, I was triggered. I felt the wounds of the girl that used to fit in those jeans. And I didn't just fit in those jeans. I was pushing the limit on those jeans. It was laying down, using a hanger on the zipper to get them on. And today I sit here in a size 4 comfortably, a 2 if I want to suck it in. Your life can totally change. It's not about the size. It's about how I feel at the size that I am. And that's what I want for you. So, I love you, Circle of Health. You're my favorites. And I will be here to root you on, support you, and be whatever amount of accountability that you want. So, let's go. Let's do this together. Bye for now.